The Spirit Mountain series is a Project Arrhythmia storyline created about 3 years ago by no one else than myself, Subnautics. If you followed my recent activity, you'd probably realize that the Spirit Mountain is now halfway done, which is pretty cool. Today, I want to make a checkpoint video to make things clear about the future of the Spirit Mountain series, and ensuring its future comes with going back at the time it all started. Actually, I don't have the real date, but it happened in 2021. It was during summer vacations and I was making my first and cursed level between some beach sessions. Back then I was watching many Project Arrhythmia series on my free time. Yeah, it's like you when you watch anime, it just looks a bit more childish. One of them especially caught my attention, the Dark Delirium series. It might be cancelled now, but at that time it got me dreaming. I knew I wanted to make something like this too, and I slowly imagined the story of a ghost who'll try to resurrect by climbing a holy mountain. Strongly inspired by Celeste, objectively the best game in the world, I soon realized that I also wanted the player to have a companion, and so I started creating the first character of the Spirit Mountain, our dear Lagoon. Lagoon wasn't very simple to design, though he is indeed simple in design. That boy had to appear in basically every level of the Spirit Mountain, and let me remind you that the Project Arrhythmia editor only allows 9 colors displayed in a row. So the difficulty was to let him fit the colors of every theme I'd ever use. His first designs had some blue that quickly disappeared because of the lack of colors again. He ended up being all white, the kind of base NPC, if you know what I mean. For the eyes, I had to get away from Delirium's face, so I decided to go for a more silly ghost vibe, like a boo, and I just really stole Aura's eyes. Do not question how that was made. Then, now that I had my pal, I started to plan every level. There will be 10 of them, with unique attack patterns, diverse environments, verified songs, you get the deal. Making Monody the first one was pretty quick, as I didn't have the experience I have now. In other words, it sucked so much that it was faster to make. I'm still pretty happy of the start of the Spirit Mountain, to be honest, having this groovy and clear level rhythmed on the sun cycle, a sort of call to adventure. Then, problems started. Lavender Town hunting took longer because it was harder to make, mainly because of this fucker that constantly changes shape. Though I was happy I was able to completely change the ambience of my story with the right colors, elements and decorations. Dang it, I even made 2 characters fight! Real prehistoric Subnautic skills right there. During all that, I never realized that I was working on a Disallowed song. Well, yeah, Lavender Town Hunting is a Pokemon music owned by Nintendo, and the copyright just wiped my level out of the workshop within weeks. My loss, I guess. After making Lavender Town Hunting, I made a short break playing other games before getting back to editing. Cascade was a very complicated project. I'm going to quote Dre.
That level was literally an animation flex. Alright, let's just get that out of the way.
And yeah, indeed. I was starting to get pretty confident with my animation skills and I tried my whole best for this. Sadly, for reasons I won't detail in that video, I managed my schedule very badly and ended up crunching in my own level. That explains the 9-month wait. I just stopped working on it for 3 months before being able to approach the editor again. So that level really was about the animation, how to make movement that normally would require physics calculators like for the hair, or just trying to make water with circles. Yeah, water with big shapes. Brainstorming right there. Then there was smooth jazz. Oh yeah, smooth jazz. Kill me. Smooth jazz was very problematic as well, even if the reasons weren't exactly the same. First of all, I went against my own ideas by choosing this song. I formally selected Marble by Stifles, a song that I really like and that is, quite to say, very funky. But after watching a certain Logi level, I decided to 180 degrees and choose Prestar Smooth Jazz Remix instead. It just fitted more to the vibe I was looking for. That resulted in me becoming a very lost person. I didn't plan that, so I had no idea what the attacks were gonna be. About the attacks, I'd like to give you a little mental test. What would you do if you had to make attacks patterns in a video game level where everything is supposed to be chill and groovy, and where every NPC is happy to see and please you? Any ideas? Me neither. That explains the cruel lack of gameplay in that level. I mean, the ground is still fully lethal, but other than that, it's very cheap and is one of the main reasons why this level feels like a giant cutscene. Because it kinda is. But it had to be this way because I had to set up stuff for upcoming levels, including the 5th one, Stormbringer. The last piece of shit my editor cushionnily pooped after 6 or 7 months of work. The reason why it took so long is actually pretty fair this time. It was just a long project on its own. A pretty long song, always something happening, and that fucking goo that always changes shape. My nightmares were filled with the randomization calculus I had to make for them to move properly. It paid off though. Stormbringer is by far my favorite level I've worked on so far, and it was heartwarming to see how well it was received. I'll never thank enough my community for that. Speaking of which... The world of the afterlife is separated from the living realm, and thus it would be impossible for a sentient living being to barge in, though it accepts animals, as you can see with the bats and Smooth Jazz. That allows me to answer the following question as well. Well, not exactly. You can clearly see a sky over the mountain, though the living realm would indeed be above it. You must understand that the two realms are strongly separated, and there wouldn't be any way to see one realm from the other. Only resurrection and death can allow travel through them. Alright, I guess I owe you that one. Though they look alike in appearance, these two aren't the same entities. While the Stormbringer creature is fully red with white eyes, this one is pitch black with red eyes. The time will come one day to reveal more about them. Oh yeah, his real name is Whitney Phoebeton, and he is the mayor of Riverdome since long enough for people to fully trust him. He's pretty chill usually, really, it's just his guests who went from tourists to outlaws that gave him a bit of a shock. This creature has no real name, though you could call it the Scarlet Dragon given its full appearance. You see, there's so much souls in that shit that giving it a name will be a nonsense, only the group matters. She did, and the springs are a legacy she got from them. The reason she's so alone is that she imposes herself to watch over the springs all the time, keeping her from getting to normal people. I had trouble deciding, but yes, Hal is indeed a boy. You can see that he was referenced as they in older levels, and now he's referenced as a he. Oh yeah, by the way, the Hal in my storyline has nothing to do with the Hal from the Project Arrhythmia story mode. I named him like that because I saw people doing that in older levels, and it's a bit too late to change that now, but my Hal has nothing to do with the Hal. I prefer tofu flavored. Yeah, these are climbing pigs. Logan has some mountain climbing materials you can see, though I wonder where he stores it. Good question. You see, when ghosts get to the afterlife realm, they lose their physical features and weaknesses, but they can still be damaged, as you may have seen. So, could it lead to an extinction of the soul, as you say? Who knows? Masks are essential to the operation of the Spirit Mountain. As the conductor told, the Spirit Mountain is a resurrection station that allows to go back to the living realm. In that system, the masks are a bit like cops then, armed forces responsible for monitoring and, if necessary, taking action to ensure the smooth running of the station. I was waiting for that one. You won't have missed it, the world of the Spirit Mountain is governed and organized by a magical law called the Charm. Its action is to classify every ghost in the realm in a caste system so that one cannot disobey a higher caste ghost. Waterfall is a warder, a ghost hunting a specific place with which they have a strong emotional link. She is stronger than the conductor, who is a chief, a ghost who owns the land and exercises political power. Finally, our two protagonists could be considered as way below them. That's why they cannot disobey them. The only two characters that have been seen breaking the charm's power are the Scarlet Dragon and Hal. Given the existence of the charm, there is indeed a ghost society, built to look like ours. Ghosts that have lost faith in resurrection, or those that don't care about it. Oh, by breathing, Hal is referring to the breathing exercises people do when they are having a panic attack, so more like a way to calm down actually. Of course ghosts don't really breathe, I mean, I don't think so. So, you probably saw that in the Spirit Mountain, the character you control, Hal, is able to interact with the world thanks to these strange crosses. They can be used to lift or repel things indeed, and are pink colored. That is the color of Hal's body actually. That is the most I can say about it right now. Yes, he is. The storm you're stuck in during the entire level is his doing, more or less. He's the center of a gigantic storm completely blocking out the daylight on this side of the mountain. He's able to order lightning to strike wherever he wishes, but he is often not completely lucid and can lose control when he feels a strong emotion, as you can see at the end of the level. Waterfall, which also has a power linked with an element, has the same issues when she's so happy that she floods the whole cave and cascade. Of course, you can understand that this is a major part of the plot, so while I won't be giving a lot on that one, I can still tell you that Lagoon was dead before Hal and is the one who unburied him. Since then, they've become very good friends indeed. Oh, tricky question. Well, even if I really love every of my characters more or less equally, I still like Waterfall's design more. Her braid especially gives her a unique outline, and she's very funny to animate. Lagoon is also super cool because he's so simple, there's literally no way to blame his model when I get animation issues, and I guess animating Mr. Red Goo was also fun somehow. Yeah. Well, I like to make a difference between the parts that were fundamentally hard to make and the ones that I just screwed up. I messed up several times with some middle parts of Cascade and Smooth Jazz, as I said earlier. They aren't especially hard to make, though it was kinda tough to go through them. For the very hard parts, Alpud, the Lavender Town fight, I had a lot of trouble figuring out a rhythm between the two fighters, and I think they can still feel it just by watching it. The Tsunami chase from Cascade was also kinda tough to make, and the corridor chase from Stormbringer was indeed a nightmare. Even though my favorite worst part to do was that fucking camera flip at the end of Smooth Jazz. I mean, gah. To answer that, my dear friend, let me tell you about Chekhov's gun. Chekhov's gun is a narrative principle that says that every element you put in a story must be useful to the plot later on, and that irrelevant elements should not exist. Long story short, if something appears, it has a meaning. Its existence has been carefully thought, and its usefulness, if not clear at the beginning, is yet to be discovered in due course. Now, listen. I'm not a professional scriptwriter, and it is very probable that several elements I've shown will never have any influence on the plot. For example, Lagoon's climbing peaks, like what? Therefore, without wanting to give you a clear yes or no, just bear in mind that I wouldn't have deliberately developed such an atmosphere on characters who won't one day save the plot. I hope that answers your question. And that concludes our question and answer session. I hope you enjoyed and got answers for some questions you were asking. Though, not all of them, that wouldn't be funny. A word before the end, thank you so much for the fan arts you've been drawing. You can see some of them right now, these people are just awesome. On that note, I think I'll get back working on the Spirit Mountain. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you're ready for the wait for the next levels to come up. See you soon and take care of yourself.